But to start out, my op-ed today at HartmannReport.com, my daily take, is titled, "Are Trump's purges and calls for a larger military budget the setup for a coup?" Now, you can't you can't start an article today without pointing out that over the weekend, Donald Trump tweeted that Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, only he actually said the word, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch, praise be to Allah. Now, this was on Easter Sunday. And obviously the praise be to Allah was a slap at Islam, specifically Iranian Islam. You might want to ask Salman Rushdie how that works out. And the Iranian response was to call his language vile. And they said that Iran's steadfastness and resistance have driven Trump to the brink of madness. Which brings us to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who said, "He has gone insane, and all of you in the administration are complicit." She went on to say, "Everyone in his administration who claims to be a Christian needs to fall on their knees and beg forgiveness from God and stop worshiping the president and intervene in Trump's madness. Our president is not a Christian, and his words and actions should not be supported by Christians." All of which raises the question, what the hell's going on here? Now, Timothy Snyder pointed out over the weekend, and there's actually a new book out on this that's absolutely fascinating, that back in 1999, when Boris Yeltsin was in trouble and they wanted basically to make the handoff to Vladimir Putin and make him president of Russia, that Putin and Yeltsin actually got together and authorized an attack on Russians, a terrorist attack on their own people. They blew up an apartment complex in Moscow, killed a couple hundred people, good Russians, and blamed it on Chechen terrorists. And then what came out of that was this, bombing campaign against Chechnya and the rise of Vladimir Putin and all these excuses to end civil liberties and clamp down on the press and on the media, start arresting dissidents, quack, 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 and, which led us to the Russia that we know of today. So Tim Snyder, the world's arguably most renowned scholar, contemporary scholar of fascism, argued in a post of his over on his Substack site this week that Trump and Hegseth may be planning to do something very similar here in America to what Putin did in 1999 in Russia. He points out that Putin is Trump's mentor, that Putin and Trump talk frequently, and he's hypothesizing that we could be looking at a false flag terror event within the United States to trigger a legal state of emergency to corrupt our upcoming elections. And if this is their plan, it could explain why Trump has decapitated the JAG Corps. These are the lawyers within the military who advise military officers whether or not a command from President Trump or Hegseth, the only two civilians who can command the military of the United States, whether those orders are legal. He has fired most of the JAG Corps, and he's also fired about 20 of our most senior military leaders who were in a position to stop them, to say, no, we won't do this. Now, this would not be the first time Donald Trump has attempted a coup against the United States. You say, oh, a coup, Trump? Oh, that's way over the top. No, he did this. He tried a coup once before on January 6th. He tried to overthrow our government. That's what a coup is. He tried to make himself basically the king of America. And now he's got this national security presidential memorandum that was issued about 8 months ago that says that if you satisfy one of these indicators of potential domestic terrorism, the FBI needs to be all over you. And these indicators are, and this is a verbatim quote, anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, extremism on migration, race, gender, hostility toward those who hold traditional American views on family or religion or morality. I truncated that somewhat, but that's the piece. Have you ever spoken ill of our country or its policies, particularly under Trump? Ever trash-talked capitalism? Publicly questioned Protestant Christianity? or profess loyalty to Judaism, Islam, Catholicism, Hinduism, paganism, or any other non-evangelical Christian belief system? Have you ever embraced the trans or queer community? Have you ever spoken out in defense of single parenting, gay marriage, or same-sex couples adopting kids? Have you ever said things or carried a sign that might hurt the feelings of masked ICE agents or Trump or Miller or Hegseth? I mean, just imagining that any of those things, doing any of those things, which probably most of us have done, could trigger not just the FBI, but now the Army kicking in our front doors and dragging us off, is so grotesque that you would say, no, that can't happen here. But it turns out that Pam Bondi actually ordered the FBI, and now we learned just this week they have actually opened a new kind of a division within the FBI to execute this order. It's called a political pre-crime center is what Ken Klippenstein is calling it, to look for and root out dissidents and critics of the Trump regime. And Bondi has told the FBI to go back as far as 5 years, back when she was still Attorney General. And then ICE is coming after, they've got all these spy machines and everything else. I mean, this is wild stuff. So Tim Snyder is basically saying, be on the alert. Tell your politicians, tell your elected officials, if we have a 9/11 kind of event here in the United States, do not overreact. Do not react the way Russia did. Do not react the way George W. Bush did to 9/11. Understand, it may well be a false flag operation by Donald Trump and the people around him in an attempt to have an excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act or something like that and bring about the end of our democracy and specifically to suspend or alter our elections this November. Share that news with everybody you know. Post it on social media. Call your elected officials and tell them. And tell them also to stop funding Trump's ICE, to stop his illegal war, and to begin immediate impeachment hearings in the House of Representatives. This is serious stuff.